the voices that won't be televised will be heard on the radio.
So now it's your time to speak up.
All right, guys, welcome to Speak Up. This is Jordan here with Ifad and Aaron as usual. Today we have Jeff Brown of the College Republicans and Fritz Chapin of also the College Republicans and George Anwriter. So let's go ahead and begin this with kind of a simple question. What kind of activities do the College Republicans organize on campus?
This is Jeff, and I just want to say thank you guys for having us on air today. It's really an honor. Different activities that we do. We meet once weekly at the Bullitt County headquarters. It's located on Zetterauer Road, or Zetterauer Avenue, actually, right beside Wendy's. And also other activities that we're doing right now. We are currently phone banking for Mitt Romney and some other local candidates around the district. And we'll be doing things on campus such as voter drives. And this upcoming game day at Wofford, we'll be having a tailgate at the Rack. I invite everybody to come out there. We'll be cooking some Boston butts and having a good time. And you can buy your tickets, $25 for a whole butt. So y'all come hang out with us at the Rack Pavilion this next Saturday at the Wofford game.
We also like to participate in debates like the ones that we've had this week, forums. Come on y'all's great show and just try to get the word out there about the Republican Party.
So from the standpoint of a political organization, what would you say that your assessment is of, Georgia Southern student body?
We definitely have a very diverse student body. However, looking at other campuses, me traveling around working on campaigns or whatever it would be, I would label this campus a more conservative campus compared to other ones, especially that of UGA, or I spent some time at UT, so I would definitely put Georgia Southern more conservative in that sense, but I wouldn't say that we were unanimously one-sided conservative or one-sided liberal. We are a very diverse student body.
That said, would you say that our peers on campus are very politically active or politically involved?
I would not say that, however, compared to especially that of UGA, where they have debates and they both have strong college Republican and college Democrat chapters. They have a lot more involvement within those chapters. They're able to do a lot more activities. As you can, if you have participated in the debates this past week, we had a 1 week, 1 vote on campus, and the participation was just really not there. Being an election year, such an important election year, and really the youth vote needs to be out there. It's been a lack of participation. I would say the average attendance to our debates is probably 10 people tops.
Or for this week?
Or just our debates in general, when we have debates on campus between college Republicans, college Democrats, and college Libertarians, it's usually maybe 10 people, and the people that show up are usually the friends of the debaters, and so it just seems like it's pulling teeth sometimes to get people to show up and become more informed.
Has College Republicans as an organization fostered a political consciousness on campus? In what ways, if you could elaborate?
I think that we've gotten a lot better about getting especially a conservative message out to the campus. A lot of people sometimes I speak to, because being one of the biggest conservative voices on campus through the George Ann, I've had people coming up to me and saying how they assumed that coming to college that everyone was going to be a liberal and they were going to get chastised for their conservative views, but we've been really trying to help the conservative students have a much more broad and bigger voice on campus when it comes to political issues.
Okay, Fritz, on a lighter note, what are the last 2 books you read?
The last 2 books I read are actually, it's funny, I just finished reading Donald Rumsfeld's Homeland Security book that came out about a year ago, and I finally finished the Eric Clapton autobiography.
And Jeff?
I'm currently reading Colonel Roosevelt. It's a biography about President Theodore Roosevelt and his life. Very interesting book. I recommend that to anybody who's if you're Democrat, Republican, whatever. It's a very interesting book. Also, I just finished up some other political books, but one that comes to mind would be Piro's class when we read Max Weber. That definitely sticks out in my head. And also Duke Whitaker. She was my seminar class, and we read Larry Sabato. He's a great author. You see him a lot on Fox News. He's a professor from the University of Virginia, and he has a great book that's out. And so that's currently where I'm at on books wise.
Well, recently, referring to the campus media coverage of the new fees, Dr. Sabia wrote in a letter to the Georgian, "Shame on the Student Council and the Georgian for not providing students with meaningful information for an informed choice." In the context of her statement, do you think that the Student Council serves as an effective, functioning body that can give students that kind of information?
Well, I seen a lot of forums that were offered for students to attend and become more educated, and they were very unbiased forums that contained people on both sides of the issue, or either sides of the issue. Also, professors, they had the opportunity to mention it in class. I know I had two professors that brought it up for a week straight in every class period. And you as a student are voting for this fee, so you should educate yourself. I know myself, I didn't rely on the forums. I didn't rely on a professor to tell me what to do. I went out and did my own research, and that's why I voted yes on all three. I thought, obviously I have different views on all of them, but I felt as a whole, our university and campus will all benefit from all the votes. So
I agree that I do believe though they definitely were, the student government and the faculty itself were pushing for yeses on all these, but I feel like there was enough students, teachers, organizations that were pushing no as well. So I think there was a pretty balanced debate about it.
All right, and then how about as that regards student media, such as, for instance, say the Georgian? Does the Georgian and do other sources of student media on campus provide a sort of an environment for informational broadening among students, for that dissemination of information vital to such decisions?
I think the Georgian does a really good job of trying to get the information that students want out really well. I think that they've done a great job of, especially through their letters to the editor, having students' voices really heard.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that also. I think the Georgian does a great job of informing us on things we need to know for a student body, especially with something like that, with a student body vote. And also for the letters to the editor, students, I recommend that more people do write to the Georgian. Just, don't pick up the Georgian and read it and think that you don't have anything to say back. Write a letter to the editor. Get your opinions out there, and that's what the paper's for. And it's there for us to be informed about every walk of life on campus. So
now, Fritz, you are a regular writer for the Georgian, and your opinion pieces have been from time to time criticized for lack of evidence, fairness, and depth. Now, has criticism of your work affected the content of your writing?
Not really. No, I do read every letter to the editor. Sometimes you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes, but for every one letter to the editor that's criticized me, I've gotten several sent to my personal email thanking me for having going out and saying and preaching the conservative word and giving those people a voice when there's basically two liberal writers and one conservative writer in the ops section. It's nice to have both sides come and talk.
Just on a personal level, do you ever doubt yourself?
No.
So how many supporters do you think you have just in the student community?
23,000.
I think that support. I think I have the support of a lot of the students. I feel like I've even had several or young Democrats and people that I have in class come up to me and say, I don't agree with you, but I'm glad that you're out there pushing the narrative along. So that's what I really try to do. I try to keep the narrative going, keep people talking about these issues, and not maybe slanting ones or trying to come and do a more liberal take so I get less heat. I think that would be detrimental to the political narrative on campus.
And do the college Republicans agree with you necessarily on every issue, or is it just Fritz Chapin, the individual, stating his views?
I definitely reference college Republican members on issues. Like about a year ago, I did an article about stay-at-home moms and how they need to be respected. I got a lot of input from the women in college Republicans, and I come to Jeff from time to time on how I should go at a piece. So while they're not going to agree with every word to word I say, I feel like they agree with me most of the time.
Most definitely. I mean, obviously those are his personal views. It's not he's not representing the college Republicans officially when he writes. However, our chapter does support Fritz 110%, and we really enjoy what he writes, and more so, we just enjoy that we can have both sides debating in the paper, 2 times a week, and it's not, one-sided biased when we pick up the paper. So,
Another question for Fritz. Have you had situations where your works were heavily edited, had content or sources removed by Georgian?
The only time that's ever really happened was if it goes over a word limit, and then they'll, depending on the ads or what else is running that week, my word count differs. So sometimes they'll say, Fritz, you wrote a little too long, and they'll send me back a draft of what they edited, and we kind of go back and forth and making sure that we stay within the word count, but also maintain the integrity of the argument. So they've never really tried to change my argument or say you can't put this in there, but we do a good job of keeping the word count to a point where it needs to be and keeping the integrity of the argument.
Sometimes, do you think that Georgian regularly publishes you only to stir up the pot?
I think that. No, I don't think that. I think that the reason that they came to me is because they really wanted someone who is a solid conservative writing for them. We got kind of in trouble a couple with the last person, Rob Roberts, who is more of a middle or center left person, and it ended up having a lot of overlapping with him and I. But now that we've got Scott Markley, who's a fantastic writer, we really have a good conservative, far right conservative, far left liberal to really get a good, strong contrast.